Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of PhotoBiz Live. This is Danny from the PhotoBiz team, and today we're going to be joined by Kalen Henderson, and she is going to be going over a document she created, a photographer's survival guide. So we have an excellent presentation planned for you, and I'm excited to have Kalen here on the program. If you guys aren't familiar with Kalen, she has been in the professional photography industry for more than 25 years, growing her business, selling her business, and then diving back in head first. She is instructed at almost all the professional photography schools across the U.S., as well as in Korea and Japan. Her monthly articles appear in Professional Photographer magazine, and she continues to speak and teach even while growing her newest business, Studio K. And I have actually had the honor to meet Kalen before at some of the shows, and she's been a long-time PhotoBiz client, so we're very excited to have her here today. So I'm going to let her get started in just a moment. I just wanted to remind everybody that we are going to be discussing this on Twitter as well with the hashtag PhotoBizLive. So if you hear any great info that you love, any questions you've got, use the hashtag PhotoBizLive with your question or comment on Twitter. And if you have any friends that want to tune in, as you guys know, this is a free webinar, so be sure to be social and share the link to get people to join up over the next few minutes. If during the webinar today at any point you guys have any kind of difficulty hearing Kalen or myself, just use the comment box and let us know. That'll send a message directly over to me. And again, my name is Danny. So if you guys do have any questions, just direct them inside of the webinar software. So we're super excited to get things going. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and turn things over to Kalen. Kalen, how are you doing today?
Hey, we're doing pretty good. How are you?
I am awesome. I am ready to tune in today, and I hope everyone else is. We have a large group of people who have made it in here today, so it's great to see so many different people out there. I wish we could see your faces, but a number with your name tag will do today. I'm going to go ahead and let you get everything started, okay?
All right. Well, that sounds great. Welcome, everybody. I wanted to make sure and tell you that I'm sitting here in southeast Iowa, where yesterday it was 52 degrees in the morning, and we actually photographed a senior outside yesterday morning in a T-shirt, and she actually went barefoot for a little while. But right now it's probably 9 degrees with about a 30-mile-an-hour wind. So if you like a change in weather, you should move to Iowa where we live. And hopefully I will not experience any difficulties with the internet or the electrical or anything else that goes on my end. But I'm glad you all took time to join us today, and I hope I can make a difference in your business and in the way you think about the photography industry and everything that's going on. I know that February is kind of a crappy time of year in the studio business, as well as in the weather, but especially in the studio. So let's see if we can't make a difference today in the way you're thinking about doing your business. First of all, for those of you who've been in the industry for a while, like I have, we just kind of are sitting back wondering what the heck has happened to the industry. But if you're new to the industry, you want to know what the heck we're talking about. Well, we've noticed such a turmoil, I guess is the word, in the photography industry over the last probably 5 to 6 years with the onset of digital photography, as well as a lot of changes in the economy. Things have come almost to where we don't even recognize the industry that we entered a long time ago. I know that I got into the industry in 1987, which is when I purchased my studio. And I bought a studio and the existing equipment from a person here in town who was getting out of the business. And I learned all about the great mystery of film. And back in those days, and I know I sound like I'm 90 years old, and some days I feel like that, but when we were using film, there were a lot of differences. Film was very mysterious, not only for the client, but for the photographer as well. You had to trust a lot of things that you don't have to worry about today. There was no looking at the back of the camera. There was hoping that you'd had your lights set right, hoping that you'd metered, hoping that what you were seeing from your lighting setup and focus and everything was accurate. Everything was based on knowledge and trust. And once you learned how to do that, you could pretty much step into a situation and be pretty confident. Digital today is not only instant gratification of the photographer, but it can be for the client as well. You can pretty much almost start selling while you're in the camera room by occasionally showing them the back of the camera and getting them excited to see what they're going to see in the future. While when we used to have film, unless you would pull a Polaroid, they really had no idea what was coming up. They could see this giant, place that you were taking a picture with these lights that would flash, but they had no idea what they were getting. And even though we were somewhat confident, you never really knew. And then you would send the film off to the lab and hope that they didn't do something bad to it. But that's where I came from. Was I kind of grew into this. We went digital early in about 2000, little 2002, something like that, and got in right after all the testing and stuff was done. Cameras still weren't cheap, but they weren't real inexpensive like they are today. Today, the photography, I would have to say, is easier. And it's easier in many ways. The clients are much more accepting of what you're going to do. The art seems to have taken over the science part. But I believe that the marketing of these products and everything you do is a heck of a lot harder. And I'm going to tell you why. Marketing is harder now because the market is smaller. There are more photographers and less clients. It seems to be that because of the inexpensive nature of digital cameras, more people have cameras, and I don't want to really offend anybody. However, there are a lot of people out there that believe by merely owning a camera that makes them a photographer. And in this day, like I said, of forgiving clients and the art of the creation, it's possible that some people might look at it at that. And yet, as those of us who have had established studios, what's happening is we are seeing a lot of who could be our potential clients come in and say, well, my brother-in-law's cousin's boyfriend's sister took my daughter's wedding pictures, and they're really, really tiny, and can you fix it? Well, that's one of those things that no matter how much you preach to people, be careful, buyer beware, you can't always fix it. But our market as professional photographers has gotten smaller because basically there are more photographers out there. The marketing has changed because, big shocker right here, the economy is kind of not in the best of shape right now. And even though they say the economy is coming back, I am not the biggest believer in this. I'm still a little bit pessimistic. Now, part of it is because it is winter, and of course nobody likes winter anyway, and nobody wants to get out, especially on a day like today when we have these really high winds and cold temperatures. It's kind of a pain to even go outside. But right now, and I heard this morning, I was up early enough to listen to the news, and then I read it again in the newspaper, that the economists predict gasoline is going to go to $5 a gallon by summertime. Now, I have spent a lot of time studying, the market and the economy and things like that. I had to make a lot of hard decisions before I decided to get back into the industry. And one of those tough decisions was being made at the time when the economy was kind of, juggling itself around. And when I hear news like this, $5 a gallon, it really concerns me as a business owner. And I'll tell you why. Is because Americans like to drive. We all know that. We all like to drive. And as much as they want us not to drive, we're still going to drive. Most of the American economy and most products and services are based around the cost of gasoline. Let's face it, the average American, even if they only drive 2 miles to work, they still have to fill their car. And even if they're driving a hybrid, they still have to fill their car. And therefore, the average American drives a regular car and drives an average of 5 miles to work, every day, 10 miles round trip, and they have to fill their car. When they're spending a large part of their income on gasoline, there's less disposable income to spend on things like pictures. What will happen in a trickle-down theory, as we know, they'll spend more money on gasoline, and that will take out of the disposable income. So they'll have to decide where they're going to cut corners. One place they could cut corners in their thinking is in photography, because they'll say, well, you know, it'd just be cheaper for me to buy a camera of my own and do it myself. We've all heard that thinking. We've all actually had that type of thinking for one type of service or another. You know, like, let's say, for example, dry cleaning. Let's say, oh my gosh, the cost of dry cleaning is way too high, and I have to pay $5 a gallon for gas, so I'm not going to take my stuff to be dry cleaned. I'm going to buy the little dryer sheets and try to do my own dry cleaning at home, iron the shirts and things myself, and save myself some money. So we as photographers think that way, but we have to remember that people on the other side are thinking that way about us. The marketing is harder because we really have to filter out what I call the noise. There's an onslaught of social media, and I know some of you are out there on the social media right now, Twitter, Facebook, everything like that. But it seems like the more social media there is, the more what I call noise. How do you tell? How do your customers tell what is true and what is reliable? They've got to go out there and be able to actually say, look at a Facebook page and say, is this person the person that I want to do my photography? And so when you get all of that out there and people on there all the time, and you don't know who's commenting or writing, you could pull up our studio Facebook page, and for all you know, it's, you know, customers saying how great we are, when in reality it's my all my aunts and uncles that I ask them to write nice things about me. You just don't know. And we have to occasionally put ourselves in the place of the public so that we know what's going on and we know what they're seeing. You have to kind of step out of the small little world that we're in and say, oh my gosh, you know, what is really going on? Who do I really want to do my business? But, you know, it is what it is. So this is a saying that when I thought about this program, when I first came back into the industry in 2010, I remodeled an old lumber yard in a really small town, a town of about 1,000 people here in Iowa, and I remodeled this, and I had a landlord who was exactly my best friend, and anytime something would go wrong and the heat wouldn't work, or there would be a hole here, or something was bad, the answer I would get from him is, it is what it is. And even though I wouldn't get any action, I would get that comment from him, which made me become more of an action-oriented person. And that's why today we're going to learn how to take action, because it is what it is. We can do little to nothing about the cost of gasoline. We can do little to nothing about the idea that there are a million, billion people on the internet talking. It is what it is, but there are things that we can do things about. So, in order to survive successfully, there's 3 things that we're going to go through today. You need to learn to market smarter, you need to learn the art of the promotion, and you need to learn to have adaptable pricing. So, jumping right in here, we're going to talk about marketing smarter. Okay, the first question that you need to ask yourself, and you might want to think really hard about these, because learning how to market, I'm not going to teach you how to make a pretty brochure. I'm not going to teach you how to make a beautiful website, because PhotoBiz can do that. I need you to sit down and ask yourself some hard questions today. Of all cold February days, you need to sit down and do a lot of self-examination and ask yourself the hard questions, which is going to help your business in the long run. So the first question you need to ask yourself is who? You know, who do I want as my client? And people go, oh, I want everyone. Well, yeah, we all want everyone. But who exactly? Do you want high school seniors? Do you want brides? Do you want moms with newborns? Who is your target market? You're going to, if you go after your target market, you're going to just by default get some of that other market as well. Who do you want for your market? When we sat down and said, well, I'm going to start again, who do I want as my target market? My target market is high school seniors. That's what I like to do. That's my strong suit. If other things came by default because I do high school seniors, that's fine. We do a lot of children. If you do a lot of newborns, granted, you're going to do a lot of children. If you do weddings, granted, you're eventually probably going to get asked to do newborns. But you need to decide, who do you want as your clients? right now the niche market is very, very good for photographers because there are so many photographers that it actually is to your advantage to specialize. And I'll give you a hint. One of those things that we're finding that people are willing to spend money on right now is their pets. So if you wanted to be a specialized pet photographer, I would say that that might be one of the smartest moves right now that you could make. Where are those customers? Where are they hanging out? Where are they sitting? Where are they listening? Where can you reach them? Are they, if they're a new mom, you might be able to reach them actually by going to a hospital and asking if you could do a display, or an OBGYN office and do a display. If they're a pet owner, you could reach them through the veterinarians, through the pet stores. If they're high school seniors, you're going to reach them through the school. Those are the kids that you're going to reach through a certain type of social media. If they're brides-to-be, you're going to find them at the bridal shows. You're going to find them at the bridal stores. You need to know where they are. Simply posting on the internet that you are a wedding photographer is just kind of like flying over the city and dropping flyers randomly and hoping that they land on their doorstep. You need to find out where these people are and consistently bombard that area with the fact that you're looking for those customers. When are they most likely going to be looking for your service? If they're a high school senior in Iowa, chances are they're looking between the months of June and November. That's when they want to be photographed. The weather's nice, it's sunny, they're tan, they are off school, or it's fall. They have pretty leaves. We have so many people that want pretty leaves, especially, we do seniors. Naturally, we do their families also, and they all want pictures that are taken outside when the leaves are pretty. Generally, when for outdoor photography in Iowa is not January and February, unless they're looking for snow, and that's not coming until Thursday. So you just kind of need, if you're a bride, if you're a wedding photographer, you're probably looking at June, of course. June and October seem to be the two wedding months, at least here in the Midwest. And so they're going to be booking maybe a year in advance. A lot of brides book right after Christmas because they get engaged at Christmas time, or right after Valentine's Day. And so you have to know when they're looking for your services and be ready and be there. Know who they are and where they are and when they're going to be there. And if you know those things, then you're starting to market a lot smarter. Now, what goods and services are they looking for? Are they looking for wall portraits? Are they looking to buy images on CD? Are they looking to buy wallets? Do they want announcements? Are they looking for save the dates? It's great that we can provide them with photography services, but what the heck are they really looking for? You need to learn to ask your clients, and we ask all of our clients, what are you hoping to get from this? Are you looking for a wall portrait? I don't know. Are you looking for wallets? Well, I really want announcements. Great. Then let's talk about that before we ever start. It's easier to sell them an 8x10 after I've sold them what it is that they really want. If they get what they really want and they're happy with it, it's pretty easy to say, hey, you want an 8x10 with that? It's kind of like the fries at McDonald's. You drive through McDonald's, you're hoping just to buy that chicken sandwich, and then they want to throw in the fries for cheaper and put it into a package. Yeah, no problem. I'm happy. I got my chicken sandwich. Fries would make me even happier. Find out the goods and services they're looking for right off the top, and then add something on from there. How? How are you going to reach them? Are you going to reach them on the social media? Are you going to reach them through the yellow pages? Are you going to reach them through direct mail, direct email? What's the best way to get to these people? What's the absolute best way to see them? Bridal shows, there are some baby shows out there now. What is the best way? Ask yourself, how? Who are these people? Where are they? When are they going to need me? What are they looking for? And how do I find them? If you can start answering those questions, then you're going to be starting to market a whole lot smarter. And it's a whole lot easier anytime you do these steps. Anytime you do any type of advertising, you need to ask yourself, before you spent the money on that advertising, does it accomplish these questions? If it doesn't, you've probably wasted money on your advertising, because these are the questions you need to do in order to be a good marketer. The other thing you also need to do is always, always ask your customers, how did they find you? How did you find us? And they will tell you, oh, I heard from so-and-so. Oh, I saw your ad in this. Oh, I saw it on Facebook. Ask them exactly how did they find you. And you're going to find out then what the best source of your advertising is. And even though we like the social media, not everybody is on Pinterest. You know, the people that live in your area might not even have an account. They might not even be out there, and as wonderful as Pinterest is, not everybody is on there. You know, I got to tell you that and this is not a commercial for PhotoBiz, although I would be a really good commercial for PhotoBiz, because I'm going to tell you that I became a PhotoBiz customer a long time ago, and I think right after they had started. Oh, hold on. That's probably PhotoBiz calling me now. But right after they had started, because they called me. I guess it was just like my phone rang. That was the way it was supposed to work. It was what's called a cold call. And if you've ever done cold calls, you'll know that they are the hardest thing in the world to do. Julio from PhotoBiz called me at my studio one day and said, hey, we are starting, my name's Julio, we're starting a website company for photographers. Would you be interested in website services? And I hadn't really given much thought to a website. I thought, oh gosh, I'll have to hire a developer, this and this and this. And I said, you know, are you going to have an online where I can post images and people can buy them? Yes, we are. I said, am I going to be able to upload my own images? Yes, you can. And I said, you know what? I will do it. And I signed up that day. And I signed up for PhotoBiz that day because of a cold call. I wasn't looking for a website service that day. I wasn't shopping for one. But he called me and said, I've got this service, are you interested? And you know what? You don't know how many people out there really in the back of their mind are saying to themselves, I really need to have a family portrait taken. But they just haven't bothered to make the phone call, make an appointment. So that's where maybe you need to cold call. Maybe you need to cold call, email, or maybe you just need to pick up the phone and call a few people every day and say, hey, are you in need of any photography services? It's a hard call to make, but I'll tell you what, it can be an effective one. Let's move right along here to the art of the promotion. I am a big fan of the promotion. Now there's a difference between a special and a promotion. A special is generally a discounted price on a regular item. That's especially at the grocery store. You know, they got a special on bananas today, you know. But a promotion are events with discounted items as a result of an event. So the special is going to bring return clients that you've already photographed. They're going to bring them back and say, oh, hey, we got wallets on sale or we've got canvas on sale. The promotion is going to get new bodies in the door, which is what you want. You want new bodies in the door all the time. And so what you need to do is to consider the development of several what we call promotions. And promotions are those events, those one-time things where they've got the photography and the product all packaged into one. They're going to walk into your studio or wherever you decide to have it, and they're going to actually experience you and get a product as a result. And so that's the type of thing, especially at this time of year, you want to start coming up with a couple of different promotions. They don't have to be anything, you know, super hard to do, but you need to have a promotion to get those bodies in the door. You need to get the blood flowing in order to get them moving and knowing that you're there and actually enjoying what it is that you do. Right now, the next thing we've got coming up are the bunnies. I, for a long time, refused to do this promotion, and the first time I did it, it was so much fun and so successful that I couldn't afford not to do it anymore because people were asking for it. And this is one of those things that we do a bunny promotion on Easter weekend. We'll do it the Friday and Saturday before Easter Sunday. And what it is it's not only photography, it's an experience for both the parents and the kids. And even though we live out here in the middle of farm country, these little kids love coming in. They love interacting with these live little bunnies. They just love doing the whole thing. And the parents pay just a $10 session fee for a 15-minute session. The kids come in ready. We photograph them. We post them online. The people buy online. And the whole experience of it is something that we can get to know these people. Here's our studio. We're professionals. We do this right. Look at this finished product. Didn't you have fun? And you see, all of it can be fun like this. And that's what we're trying to get from this. This is not only an opportunity to sell pictures, but this is an opportunity to make clients. And that's the advantage that you have of a promotion. It's low risk for the customer, and yet they get to come in and actually experience you, because this is an industry, this is a business that you have that is totally relationship based. They are trusting you to photograph them, and in some cultures that means that you're actually taking their soul for a little while. And so you have to develop this relationship with these people. And I'll tell you what, this bunny thing, it's crazy fun. And it's just, there's some work and some mess involved. But you know what? We've got the sign-up sheets going already, and it's been really, really successful in the past, and it's going to be successful again this year. Let me give you the keys to a successful promotion now. You got to keep it simple. You can't have any crazy sets or crazy requirements for the subjects, you know. People like it easy. The easier it is, the more likely you are to get more customers in the door. So, you know, the whole keep it simple is definitely the way you want to go. You need to have easy to understand pricing. We've gone with multiple packages, and the easiest thing is to have 3, maybe 4 packages that you want people to buy from, put them up there and say, here you go. We rarely during a promotion offer anything bigger than an 8x10. And we a lot of times will offer, you know, the wallets, the 5x7, 8x10, maybe a refrigerator magnet. Occasionally we'll throw a button in that they can buy. A couple of those little items. The refrigerator magnet's always a really good thing to add on to a package. And the reason that is because they'll put it up. They'll put it up and they'll look at it every day when they go to their refrigerator, and they'll say, you know, that was so much fun. I wonder if they're doing that again. You know, they might slap that 8x10 or 5x7 in a drawer, but that magnet, they put it in a drawer, it'll stick to everything. So chances are they will put it up on the refrigerator, which is why refrigerator magnets, I am pretty sold on refrigerator magnets. You've got to make it fun. And I'll give you the hint. If you are going to make it fun for kids, kids fun involves candy. And I know that, you know, there are some people out there that say, oh, you can't throw sugar at these kids. Well, doggone it, it seems to work pretty good. And the secret candy for photographers is Smarties. They're those little wrapped, like small little sweet tarts that are wrapped in a little roll. There's plenty of them to get the kid, you know, happy. They melt in the mouth. And when they melt, they're so lightly colored that they don't stain, they don't make their lips purple. You know, it's almost a perfect candy, and if you need to bribe them, you can generally get through a session with 1 roll. So we just love Smarties, and I guess I got off on candy because candy is fun to me, but making a promotion fun is what's going to get the people talking, and the more they talk about how much fun it was, the more likely they are to come back and bring somebody else with them. These promotions need to be quick. Both the session and the turnaround time needs to be as fast as you can possibly make it without being rushed. They need to understand, a lot of people, if you will ask them, you know, why don't you go have a professional portrait taken? Oh, it takes too long. And they, you know, the public loses interest. They don't understand like we do that, you know, oh, this is all about being an artist. They don't care. They want it quick, fast. They're talking about it. They want to see it online, and especially in this digital age, you know, they want to see it now. They want it to be on the internet now. So the quicker but not rushed that you can make it, the better off you're going to be. And the last thing is you got to make it addicting. Man, when you send that order out, you need to tell them, here's our next promotion. Make sure you come back, or here's a coupon to come back, or here's what we've got coming up next, and we'll give you a discount. Or if you refer somebody to us, you can be part of our referral program, and you know, we'd love to have you back. So you've got to start the process then. If you can continue to get them to come back, you've done a successful promotion. Here's some promotions that we use that have been very successful. And you know, 3 to 4 a year, 1 a quarter will probably keep the people interested and keep them coming back. Now, some people have said to me, but won't this dilute my regular business? You know, won't this mess up and make them not come for my regular business? No, not generally. We haven't found that to be the truth at all. If they say, are you going to have a fall family promotion this year? We'll say, well, we're not really sure, but if you'd like to book a regular one and make it so that your regular appointments have a little bit something more special to them, more time, a couple of different locations, outfit changes, things like that. Those are the things that are going to set apart your full price clients versus your promotion clients. But these are a couple of the things that we do here that make them, that make our promotion calendar pretty popular. I'm going to tell you about another promotion, and this was on the internet the other day, that actually drew me in. And that is, if you have a certain product, and let's say, for example, that you want to sell, let's just take 16 by 20 canvas. Okay, you want to have a 16 by 20 canvas sale. You can do that, and what you need to do is to have a one-day promotion. Make sure you say, mail it to all your customers and get it out there in the media, social media, and say, on February 20th, we are going to have 16 by 20 canvas sale, and you can buy this 16 by 20 canvas for $50, okay? But you have to buy it that day, you have to pay for it that day, and it's only good until May 1st. So sometime between February 20th and May 1st, the people that buy that 16 by 20 canvas, they need to come in and be photographed so that you can fulfill that canvas order in that amount of time. You are not going to sell a ton of those, but you will sell some. It's going to depend upon the product that you decide to sell. So if you decide you're going to have an 8 by 10 sale and say you're going to sell $8 8 by 10s, as many $8 8 by 10s as you want, but it's only for the people who haven't been photographed yet, then you've got those people that buy them that are going to need to come in during that period of time, February to May, and be photographed in order to fulfill the product that they've just bought. One thing that we fail to realize when we do marketing and retailing as photographers is we don't have any product to sell if we don't have customers in to photograph. So you can't sell what you don't have. But in this case, you can sell what you don't have, and you have to make it clear to the people that if you buy the $50 canvas, it's non-refundable. You have to come in and be photographed, and this offer is not good for people that we've already photographed. This is for new sessions only. So, but you could have a one-day sale on that and sell those, which will generate sessions during a slow time. So you might want to think about that. You need to keep the cost of the promotions to a minimum, and we sell online as often as possible, because if you can keep your cost low, that increases your bottom line. So that way you're not taking up time doing like face-to-face sales or projection sales or anything like that. We try to keep the cost of a promotion absolutely to the minimum. The last thing is adaptable pricing. This is a tough thing right out there right now, because a lot of photographers are seeing a limited number of clients, and the fewer people that there are buying means that those people that are buying need to spend more money to make up the difference. It's that way in any business. Absolutely any business, it's that way. So we have to be able to price for a profit. We have to take into account what the market will bear. For example, let's say that my clients are down and I need to mark the cost of my 8 by 10s up to $200. I don't think my market's going to bear $200. And if people say, well, I'd really like to have Studio K take our pictures, but I can't afford a $200 8 by 10, what are we doing as photographers? What we're doing is we're encouraging them to just go try it themselves. And the more people that we push into that because of our prices being too high, the more weekend photographers there are going to be taking business from us. Because really, if we need 12 sessions a week, that person only needs one other session a week to cover their expenses, because they really don't have as many as somebody who's trying to do it full-time. So you have to learn to price for a profit, but you have to take into account what the market this day will bear. You don't want to give it away, but you don't want to drive those customers away either. And I wanted to talk about adaptable pricing, because this is one way that we price right now. Is we think that everybody has a hidden price on everything. Let's take, for example, and usually it's easier if I have a room full of people. Let's take a loaf of bread. Now, I don't know what normally you would pay for a loaf of bread, but a loaf of bread here right now is $1. I think it's $1.99. And so if bread here, the same bread that I buy, were to go on sale for 99 cents a loaf, I would probably go out and buy a bunch of bread, and I'd put it in the freezer. But if bread goes up to $3.99 a loaf or $4.99 a loaf, $5.99 a loaf, I will probably stop buying bread. I will probably bake bread or go on a carb-free diet. Everybody has a hidden price. Everybody walks into your studio, whether they know it or not, knowing what they are prepared to pay for the services and goods that they're going to walk out with. And if you can figure out what that hidden price is, what that price point is, you can take your product and stick it in that package. I'll give you another example. In fact, let's talk about the newborn. These newborn moms, when they come into the studio, we think that their price point is somewhere between $200 and $250. And we've been pretty accurate with that price point. We think that that's an amount that they can spend. They don't generally have to check with their husband. They don't have buyer's remorse between $200 and $250. Everything seems to go well at those price points. So we make our packages up to where almost every package comes up to about somewhere between $200 and $250, because from our experience, that's what they're willing to spend and still come back again. So your job is to sit down and look at your clientele and to understand your clientele and say, what will they pay? What are they paying right now for these things? You know, high school seniors, what are they paying? Most high school seniors are comfortable right now in the $300 and $350 range. And so if we can make our packages to target that range, that's where most of them will go. Now, I do want to go back to this newborn really quick. You have to also take into account, what does it cost you to do this session? You've got to understand what it costs you. Let's say that you are a studio owner and not a photographer. All you are is the owner of the studio. And you had to hire a photographer and an assistant to photograph a newborn for one day. You had to rent the equipment, rent the lights, and you're going to pay all that. You're going to pay all those expenses. We had a newborn in the other day, and in order this day and age to do a successful newborn, the baby has to go to sleep. That's what the moms want. They want the sleeping baby thing. The mom came in, nursed the baby, and the baby woke up, and we could not get the baby to go back to sleep. It took almost 90 minutes for the baby to go back to sleep. If I was paying a photographer and an assistant $25 an hour to photograph that, well, I just spent $25 each. I spent a little over $50, $60 in employee time alone just while they were trying to make a baby go back to sleep, let alone cost of the rental, cost of this, cost of that. That session probably cost me $100 to $125. Now, I know you're saying, well, my time's not worth anything because I'm not doing anything else. But if you couldn't afford to be a photographer and you had to go out and get a job and work somewhere for $25 an hour, and you had to take that time off of your job to photograph the sleeping baby, the longer you were there waiting, the more money you would be losing from your other job. So taking all those things into account, can you afford to do newborns, you know, hour by hour, and have you priced the session for what it could cost in case the baby doesn't go to sleep? That's probably a whole nother webinar that we don't want to get into today. But a lot of photographers fail to take into account what it costs to actually do sessions versus what the client's going to spend in the end. And probably the last thing in adaptable pricing is, do you want or need to sell digital images? I've been selling digital images on CD for at least, ever since we went digital. And so that takes it a little over 10 years. We've been very successful selling these digital images. We have come up with a couple of different formats where people are able to buy them in different resolution. They're able to print them themselves. It has not cut into our print sales because people have found out that owning a digital image is not really what it's cracked up to be, unless they want it for Facebook or, you know, to display or something like that. but we do sell digital images, and we sell paper prints and canvas prints and metal prints and everything else as well, and don't really find that it is cut into those paper sales. The only thing that we found is that the public likes it a little bit better because they do have the option. But that also gives us the opportunity to explain to them the difference in you own a digital file, you're not always going to get the same print that you'll get from a professional. And so buyer beware when you take that CD into Walmart. We'll give you a copyright release, and here's your CD, but the Walmart printer might not be calibrated that day to the same thing that was calibrated when we shot this. We'll guarantee our print, but we won't guarantee the print that you make at Walmart. So there again, selling digital images is a whole nother ball of wax and a whole nother webinar, but we do sell those. We have been successful in selling those. We have just rewritten our price list in order to package some digital image packages that we're going to do and take the pricing just a little bit in a different direction to actually encourage more print sales, because over the course of the past couple of years, we've noticed a lean back towards print sales over the digital option. New moms like the digital option, but a lot more people are leaning back towards the print sale. So in this day where everybody, especially good old Iowa boy Ashton Kutcher, says that anybody can be a professional photographer, you have to learn to set yourself apart from the rest of the photographers out there, and there are a lot of them. There are a whole lot of photographers out there that put up websites or get Facebook pages or have business cards printed and say, hey, we're a professional photographer, and then you just don't know what it is that's coming out of there. It's hard being a professional photographer these days. It's hard having a studio. It's hard having that overhead. It's hard competing with what you really don't know is out there. However, if you set yourself out there and say, let people know that you are actually a professional, that you are doing this day to day, that you'll be here today, tomorrow, and the next day, and next week, and that you do business by professional standards, and that you're going to stand behind your product, I truly believe that we still have a niche in the making of prints, the making of wall portraits, the creating of a family history, and all of the like for all of our customers that are out there. I hope that today I've answered a lot of your fears, tried to give you something to think about, if nothing else, the questions that you need to ask yourself today to try to get some effective marketing going. We do have this wonderful PhotoBiz website, thestudiok.net. I invite you, if you have questions, we're going to do some Q&A here. But, if you're sitting up tonight going, I probably should ask her that question, feel free to email me through the website here. We'd love to hear from you. Don't write to me if you're going to make me feel bad, because I get enough of that as a columnist for the PPA magazine. I get enough hate mail now and then, but and it really does hurt my feelings. So let's try to keep it positive. I'd be glad to answer any questions I possibly can. I do have a very limited number of products. I've got some promotion packages for sale and things like that, but that's something that you can, inquire through the website if you're interested. And I think right now, because according to my clock, I'm right dead on time, that Danny, I think we'll go back, and if there are any questions, I'd be glad to try to answer them.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for the great presentation, Kalen. So I hope everybody took a bunch of notes. I know I sure did. There was a lot of great information in today's presentation. We do have a bunch of questions that just came in, so thank you everybody for asking them. I'm going to work my way from the order in which they came in. So I will go ahead and do that now, and anyone else who has questions, now is your chance to ask them. So let's see. All right, so we're getting we're getting some sales-related questions, Kalen. So Linda asks, Kalen, do you find that online sales hurt your sales versus in-person sales?
A lot of that really depends upon the product that we're selling. We find that with the promotion, the online sale is the way to go, because the people want that quick and down and dirty, and promotions are the only thing that we sell online. Everything else, we ask that they come in, or we ask that they email it to us or call us with that. And I try to be as aware as I can about what people are paying to travel to come see us. And so I usually make a point of that in my marketing material, saying, hey, we pay for gas too, so you don't have to come see us. And once you befriend your customer like that and say, I know what boat you're in, they tend to loosen up a little bit. So we do online ordering with promotional items, but we try to make the other items, the full service items, more of a one-on-one, whether it is on the phone, in person, or by email.
All right, and hopefully that answers your question there, Linda. Now this is, I know, a very popular question. This is from Brian. He wants to know, how do you price your images, and I guess if you have any advice for pricing digital images. Excuse me. How do you price your digital images? What's your stand on digital images?
Okay. Well, back before I sold my business, which was in 2006, and in 2006, in my opinion, was one of the few last years before the great digital slide. Business was going pretty well. We used to be able to, our digital images were $80 an image, and then they would have to buy the 8x10 for $8. Right now, when we came back into the market, because prices had gone down significantly, in my opinion, we started out at $25 and we're now at $35 an image, and that's an 8x10 at 300 DPI, and $35 an image, and then they can do whatever they want with that image. But you also have to realize that when you price images at that price, it changes the way that you shoot, and you need to start shooting with much more variety. Now, I'm not saying you need to give them 1,000 images to choose from, but if you're going to give them, it's a difference between giving them 5 images and giving them 30 images, because at $35 an image, we rely on a volume rather than pricing one high image.
All right. Thank you for that answer, Kalen. And next question we have in here is going to be from Sequoia. Sequoia says, Kalen, where do you get the bunnies for the bunny photos? Any advice on that?
Yeah, I used to purchase them from a pet store. I'd have to call and reserve them. I guess they needed to make sure that the bunnies were feeling frisky. And so I used to have to call and reserve them, and then I would buy them. But my problem then was that, what do I do with these bunnies? And you would try to give them away, and then the parents would end up hating you because they sent the bunny home with your kid. So I have actually made friends with a local farmer who raises the rabbits, and we rent them. And so if you can find like a 4-H club, or if you can find a farmer or anybody and actually rent those rabbits, you're pretty lucky. I mean, if they'll let you borrow them, that's even better. But at a couple of years, we did give a contribution to the local 4-H club, and they would bring their bunnies in, and we'd use those. 4-H, FFA, places like that, we actually are lucky enough to be able to rent rabbits.
Yeah, I've had a lot of other photographers tell me that that's usually going to be your best approach. We're here in North Carolina, so it's pretty easy to find a farm or something like that, but I know it's going to depend on your location, Sequoia. All right, so thanks for that question. All right, and we're gonna move down on to some questions. Now, you told everyone in today's webinar to kind of focus on what they're what do they want to shoot, what do they want to photograph. Now, we have a question here from Arnold. Arnold says he lives in Florida, and it's a contract state for school photography. So any suggestions how to find high school seniors in that market where it's, it sounds like the schools have a built-in contract with maybe a studio like Life Touch or something?
Right. I have done quite a bit of teaching in Florida, and actually it's interesting that you asked that, because we are trying to break into the underclass photography market right now. We do have one school, and I'm trying to break in and break the incredible clutch that Life Touch actually has in our area. It is just unbelievable, the clutch they have on these schools. I have no idea what's going on, so I can sympathize with trying to get into those seniors. The only thing that you can do right now with a Life Touch or anybody else in Florida that might have a contract, or any other state that has a contract, is you have to be able to market by showing the advantage of having a senior pictures done with you. Now, I know the tool that they're using against you is that you have to come to X photography if you want your picture in the yearbook or in the in the composite on the wall. You have to be photographed by them. Okay, lay down and let that be. Say, fine, you can go to them, you can look like everybody else, you can just go ahead and be a cookie cutter, but you don't have to buy that. And once you've had that picture, the picture that you have to have taken, which a lot of times we say, okay, it's just like you have to have your driver's license picture taken at the courthouse. But then you have a choice after that. And this is what you can do. And I'm not saying you should badmouth those guys, but they are a large corporation. And so you can pretty much say, they're a very unknown entity, and here we are, and we'll stand behind our work. And it's the difference between a giant corporation versus a mom and pop store, and the difference in those two things. You know, Arnold, I really can understand where you're coming from, and wish that there was something I could do. There's a very good photographer in Florida called, his name's Kevin Newsom, and I know he went to your legislature and tried to get a couple of different bills, tried to get those passed, and I would hope that that's something that loosens up for you. But right now, you've got to just, if you can get a couple of seniors to believe in you, then I have the feeling that it will try to snowball from there.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with that. Just, you know, I think that's a great answer, and to get around that system, you know, my opinion would be to use social media and get some senior reps out there, and if they're going to be promoting to their friends, you know, Facebook and Twitter are definitely going to be the most two popular, probably even Instagram if you want to really stay ahead of the trend and jump on Instagram with a couple seniors, then you're really going to get in, and people are going to see these great pictures, and all their friends are going to say, well, where'd you get these done? You know, mine looks so boring, and they can start referring you. So that's just an idea as well.
Right, exactly.
And it just depends on your market, like you said, Kalen. So we've got a lot more questions that came in here. So, guys, I'm doing my best to keep up with those. Thank you for your patience here. So let's see. This question, let's see. I'm going to ask you one, Kalen, here from Craig. And while you answer that one, I'm going to work on getting these other ones ready to go. So Craig says, on the single day sale promo, are you proposing to offer the product deal for a single day in the future, example 8x10 for $5, to only new clients who will then have to schedule portrait sessions to have something to print on the 8x10? Do you just charge them a session fee for the studio session and then allow them to come back in the future on deal day to purchase their promo image? So I guess he just wants some clarification on that promo.
Sure. The idea behind that is tomorrow, for example. Tomorrow we've advertised is $5 8x10 day. And you go online to our website, to our shopping cart, and you buy these 8x10s for $5, as many as you want. And then, but the deal is only good on a session that you will book anytime in March, April, or May. You have to be photographed in March, April, or May to use those $5 8x10s that you bought tomorrow. And so that's the way that promotion works. You can say, it doesn't work if your family was photographed in January and now in February, oh, I'm going to buy $5 8x10s and use them from my session in January. That's not the way it works. The way it works is you buy the product first. So as a photographer, you're going to pick your product and you're going to sell whatever it is. You're going to pick the $5 8x10 and maybe you want to limit it to 10, right? So you're going to take in their $50 and it's non-refundable, but whoever bought that, you've got to book an appointment in March, April, May. And if they book it in June, nope, too late. You can't use those 8x10s, only from sessions that we will photograph in March, April, and May. Maybe you'll see some repeat customers that have been in before, but the idea is to get bodies in the door in March, April, and May. I hope that clarified that. I hope that made that make sense.
That did help out, at least for me, so thank you for that, Kalen. This is an interesting question from Kevin. So Kevin says, what are your thoughts on opening a studio in an area where there are a lot of studios because of economic development funds available for new businesses? I have an area where I can get funds for a new business, but there are already 7 to 9 other photographers within a 4-mile radius.
Oh, wow.
That is
That,
interesting. Mm.
yeah, that's like deciding to swim by yourself in the cold swimming pool or to jump in the crowded pool because it's heated. Um, I don't know. If you believe strongly enough in your skills to market, and if you know enough about all the other studios that are there. Number one, I would not do that if I hadn't done my homework. I would know those studios like the back of my hand. I would know who they are, what they shoot. I would know all their weaknesses. I would know their strengths. I would know everything there was to know about them. And then once I made a big spreadsheet and looked at those studios, if there's something in there that they all have in common, let's say, for example, all of those studios, none of them photograph studio sessions on Saturday, okay? I would probably take those funds, open a studio, and do studio sessions on Saturday, because we found that we can make almost as much money doing studio sessions on Saturdays as we can shooting a wedding. And in some days, a lot of days in my opinion, it's a lot less painful than shooting a wedding. If, for example, none of those studios did evening hours, I'd be the evening studio, because, you know, but now you have to take into account that as soon as you do that, if those studios are smart business people, they're going to go, we're going to have to be open in the evening too. And so, but maybe that is what you find the weakness and then hinge the studio that you're going to put there on the weakness, and that sets you apart, and then they're going to try to have to catch you for a while. But you're going to have to remember to be smarter than them. You always have to be one step ahead of everybody else. So that's a good question. And would I do it? I probably would after I did all of my homework. And once I had all my homework done, I'd probably try to set myself apart. And if the funds are available, knock yourself out.
All right. Well, I think we're going to have time for just one more question here. And this question is from Scott. And Scott, this is a tough question, I think, but it is a good one, and I'm sure everyone's asked it at one point. And Scott wants to know, what is the best way of educating your clients on why they should use a professional photographer? Any ideas?
Let me repeat, make sure I got it. What's the best way of educating my clients that they should use a professional photographer?
Right. So he's wanting to know how he can do that, or, you know, clients, and probably maybe more so, you know, potential clients.
Right, the general public. The best way to educate people, in my opinion, in this day and age, is by using the story of this, don't let this happen to you. And that, we have that happen all the time. The girl, like I said, that came in and had her cousin's boyfriend's sister's brother-in-law do the wedding and messed it up. I mean, what we're doing as professionals only happens once. Your kid is only one once. Your family reunion is only once. You only have a chance once to do this. And this is going to sound a little crazy, but if you think through this, then you're going to understand where I'm coming from. Probably one of the best places that we give free space to is funeral homes. And I will talk with, you know, funeral home directors and do family portraits for the family of the funeral home directors, if they will put, and I'll give them a large print, framed print, to put up in the funeral home. And when people are there, they look at that and they say to themselves, I should have done that. I should have done that. And I always hate to take the really morbid idea of don't wait until it's too late, but sometimes that's the most effective type of marketing that there is don't wait until it's too late. Don't wish you would have. Don't wish you should have. Professional photography in a lot of cases is as good as a life insurance policy. I mean, you've got it. It's there. It's worth what you spend on it because somebody else can help you. And we ask our customers to make that case to their friends and family. And that's how we get more people back, is by asking our customers to make this case to their friends and family. You're going to be so glad you did this because blah, blah, blah. And it has to be an emotional, heartfelt type thing that you say to these people that, please tell your friends and family, how important this is. And I will relate stories a lot to a lot of people saying, oh, so-and-so, I had a girl come and she wished she'd had a professional for a wedding, and that just makes people think. And so your customers are the best ones when it comes to educating people on don't wait until it's too late or until somebody else has screwed it up. That's generally how we go in that educational process.
Well, I like that reasoning. I think that's a great answer with that, Kalen. And I wanted to thank you for presenting today and see if you had any closing remarks you wanted to send out. We got a lot of people thanking you for the presentation. I know you can't see the chat window right now, but lots of thank yous, so that is awesome. And I wanted to see if, like I said, yeah, is there anything else you wanted to wrap things up with today?
No, just if anybody else has any questions or wants to start any dialogue, I enjoy answering the emails that come through the PhotoBiz website. I do want to say thanks to PhotoBiz. I mean, seriously, you guys have made a huge difference in my business. You're definitely, PhotoBiz is such a reliable money-making machine, and that's our online sales. When we do online sales, we're strictly through our PhotoBiz website, and having a good website is as good as having a great storefront in this day and age when it's all digital. And so you want to make sure that you've got a great storefront, and that's what the company will give you. And they did not tell me to say that either. I truly believe in that. I absolutely believe in that. So I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to do this webinar.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again, and thank you to all the attendees who joined us today. We do appreciate that, and we will see you guys next time. We hope you guys have a great day.